I will say it once more just to make sure. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Albert BOURLA. I'm Chairman and CEO of Pfizer, and I want to welcome you all to Pfizer's facility here in Puurs. In particular, I want to welcome Ursula von der Leyen, the European Commission President, and her team. Madam President, it is a great pleasure and honor to have you visit the 3,000 Pfizer colleagues who have quite literally made miracles happen here over the past year. A warm welcome also to Alexander de Croo, the Belgian Prime Minister, and his team. As you know, Pfizer has a long-standing presence and relationship with Belgium, and we are very proud of our 4 Belgium sites, all of which play an important role in bringing innovative medicines to patients across the world. I also want to welcome BioNTech's co-founder, Dr. Özlem TÜRECI. Özlem, as I have told you so many times, and your husband, Pfizer could not have asked for a better partner than BioNTech. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for being here with us all these months. Like our guests, I'm humbled by what I have seen here today. Our colleagues here are dedicated to the high-quality manufacturing of an extensive portfolio of innovative biopharmaceutical products, including our pneumococcal conjugate vaccine and a number of important sterile injectable medicines. Over the past year, of course, Pfizer Puurs also has become the heart of our COVID-19 response efforts here in Europe, but also globally. Colleagues here have worked tirelessly to ensure we do 2 things. We continue providing the world with the life-changing and life-saving medicines patients rely on, including medicines desperately needed by hospitals that have been overwhelmed by multiple surges of COVID-19 pandemic, and of course manufacture and supply the first COVID-19 vaccine approved by the European Commission and many other regulatory agencies in the world that we developed in partnership with BioNTech. The team here has excelled in making the impossible possible. They have overseen upscaling efforts and made continuous improvements to the sophisticated sterile process that have ensured Pfizer has been able to deliver millions of vaccines to centers across the European Union and worldwide. Since the start of our efforts, we have added high-speed packing lines here at Puurs, improved our processes to double batch size, to increase yield, and we deployed more efficient lab tests methods to reduce releases time. All of these efforts have allowed us to reduce our timelines from approximately 110 days from start to vial ready, and we are now approaching an average of 60 days, an almost 50% improvement. As you know, we have an agreement with the European Commission to deliver 600 million doses by the end of 2021, and as of today, I'm very proud to say that we have shipped more than 100 million doses to the EU, meeting all our supply commitments to the European Commission. In addition, we are really on track to exceed the established commitments, and we will deliver 250 million doses by the end of the second quarter, a fourfold increase, I repeat, increase on the first quarter's agreed quantity. And by May, we plan to produce more than 100 million doses a month in this manufacturing site alone, with significant and continued improvements to follow in the coming months. Moving forward, Puurs remains essential to our plans to supply the world with approximately 2.5 billion doses in 2021 and potentially more in 2022. Thanks to the efforts here in Puurs and across our extensive manufacturing network, we stand ready to support the European Union and the world in this continued fight against COVID-19. Madam President, Mr. Prime Minister, I hope you have enjoyed the opportunity to meet the team here in Puurs, to see firsthand what we have achieved, and to appreciate the monumental journey we are on, a journey we hope will underscore our company purpose, which is breakthroughs that change patients' lives. So, Madam President, I will now invite you to make also a few remarks.
Thank you so much, Dr. BOURLA, dear Albert. Thank you very much for the hospitality. Indeed, it was an impressive tour through the manufacturing site, so thanks very much for that. Prime Minister, dear Alexander, dear Özlem TÜRECI, we are meeting here today at a place which symbolizes three true European stories. First, indeed, the European vaccination campaign that is picking up speed right now. Second, Europe is leading worldwide on revolutionary, life-saving mRNA. And third, in the midst of an unprecedented health crisis, Europe is the global vaccine champion, making vaccines available to the rest of the world. Let me start with the vaccination campaign. This week, we pass the mark of 150 million doses delivered. In terms of deployment, we have already passed 123 million vaccinations. And with this, the European Union is among the top three in terms of COVID-19 vaccinations worldwide, after the United States and China. So in other words, the EU vaccination campaign is on track. Yes, we have had difficulties at the very beginning, delays and production bottlenecks, but we were able to counter them due to our broad vaccine portfolio and also thanks to strong and reliable suppliers like BioNTech Pfizer. Indeed, the main vaccine used so far in the European Union is the one produced right here in Puurs. In Belgium, a true vaccine powerhouse. And with the enormous efforts of BioNTech Pfizer and the acceleration of their vaccine deliveries, I'm now confident that we will have sufficient doses to vaccinate 70% of the adult population in the European Union already in July. And this pioneering technology we see here will help us with that. This leads me to the second success story. This manufacturing site was the first to produce an mRNA vaccine at large scale in Europe. I saw the lipid nanoparticulate kit earlier. That was impressive to see that when we were visiting the site. And I was told that this is a machine that plays the crucial role in the production of mRNA vaccines. The first one ever was built right here in Puurs, in that lab, last summer. A groundbreaking innovation. And this pioneering technology could be the backbone of our future vaccine portfolio. Indeed, mRNA vaccines will be central to the EU's preparedness plan for fighting COVID-19 and other viruses. We are working with BioNTech Pfizer on a new contract. This contract will foresee the delivery of 1.8 billion doses for the years 21 and to 23. We will conclude in the next days. It will secure the doses necessary to give booster shots to increase our immunity against the virus. It will provide vaccines adapted to escape variants that no longer respond to the vaccines. And it should enable us to vaccinate, if necessary and safe, children and teenagers. And it will consolidate Europe's leadership in mRNA technologies. The story of COVID-19 vaccines is that of groundbreaking science, of pioneering spirit, dear Özlem and Ursula, and a miracle of manufacturing, Albert BOURLA and your crew, and an incredibly enabling environment of the host country. So, Alexander, without that, it wouldn't be possible. This vaccine has been developed in less than 1 year. It was unheard of. It seemed impossible only a few years ago. Never before have we seen so many successful vaccine candidates that were actually approved around the world. And never before have we seen such manufacturing scale-up and such cooperation across the industry, across countries, across the globe. In just 1 year, this manufacturing site is producing 1 billion doses. In this respect, I have good news. Our European Medicines Agency has just approved the increase of this site's production capacity by a further 20%. This will make it one of the biggest vaccine fill and finish sites in Europe. I would like to thank the workers of this manufacturing site for their extraordinary efforts we were witnessing when they were telling us about it, for working round the clock since many, many months to produce vaccines for Europe and for the rest of the world. And this brings me to my third and last point. This place is also a symbol for the European Union's fairness and openness. Europe is producing vaccines for Europeans and for citizens around the world. We have exported more than 155 million doses of vaccine to over 87 countries worldwide since December. To be clear, we have exported as much as we have delivered to EU citizens. We are the pharmacy of the world, and we Europeans take pride in this, and we invite others to join. Because we all know nobody will be safe until everybody is safe.
Thank you so much, Madam President. And I would like now to invite the Prime Minister and the CROO to also make some comments. Prime Minister.
Yes, thank you, Mr. BOURLA. Thank you, Madam President. And I have to say it's for me a tremendous honor to be on the same stage with Mrs. TÜRECI. You've played an incredible role in the development of what is being done here, and really would like to thank you in the name of all Belgians for the tremendous work that you and your husband and your team, because no one is doing something on its own today, have done for global public health, which is a topic which is really close to my heart. Of course, thanking all the staff of Pfizer here in Puurs. I think we've seen here a lot of pride on this site, and rightfully so, because what has been achieved here, especially the ramp-up from something which a year ago we were barely even talking about, and today producing it at hundreds of millions at the same time, it is something that rightfully so, the thousands of people who work here can have a lot of pride on. And I really think that the development of this vaccine was astonishing. The scaling up really is of biblical proportions, knowing that a year ago we were just making drawings of what we would be doing. Even in het Nederlands ook bijzonder veel appreciatie voor iedereen die hier deel uitmaakt van Pfizer in Puurs en de zoveel toeleveranciers, want het gaat niet enkel over Pfizer. Jullie hebben van Puurs een stad gemaakt die wij Belgen kenden, maar die intussen een begrip geworden is in de wereld. En van hieruit worden miljoenen mensen maandelijks geholpen om die pandemie te kunnen bemeesteren. We hebben vaak gesproken over de coronahelden. Iedereen die hier werkt is ook een coronaheld. Sites like this really are the backbone of how we fight this pandemic. Because of what you're producing here, but also the dependability and the previsibility of what you are doing here. If you want to vaccinate millions of people, this is quite some planning. And if in your planning you can work with partners who respect the timings, it really means a lot to us, but it also means a lot to the population. As Mrs. von der Leyen, you've called it a vaccine powerhouse, Belgium. I think that is the case. We have a quite exceptional position in healthcare. with research activity, with medical trials activity, and with also a great deal of production activity. And I think that's quite unique to have the full spectrum taking place in such a small geography. I would like to thank you, Mr. BOURLA, for the confidence you have had over the last decades that Pfizer has had in Belgium, and the continued investments that have taken place here. Continued investments, which means a lot. The pharmaceutical industry in Belgium is 40,000 people working in it. It's a yearly investment of 3.5 billion every year. It's 40 billion of export every year, and this year it's going to be quite a lot more because of the vaccine production. This is a result of choices that have been made over the last decades, which are linked to the knowledge we have, for example, in tropical diseases, but also some deliberate political choices which have been made. But also, and I would like to emphasize that, the belief in global cooperation. If you look at what is being produced here, the suppliers of this vaccine come from more than 80 different countries. It can only work if we respect global trade. It can only work if we understand that we need to work together in this, and this has always been our philosophy, that we want to play this role in an open market and in a market where everyone is respecting the rules. Above all, I think it's teamwork. And it's teamwork in what you are doing here during the day and during the multiple nights, because you've mentioned, your team has mentioned that. It's also been teamwork between the private sector and the public sector. And I hope this is one of the things we will get out of this crisis, is that when everyone brings at the table what they're best at, from academia, from the private sector and from the public sector, we can do amazing things. And what we have done over the last year really is amazing. We will look back at this, and I hope that this is a method we will continue working. When I talk about teamwork, specifically would like to thank your leadership, Ursula, in bringing all the European countries together and in making this a collective effort. And there was no other way for us to do it in a collective effort. And I'm convinced that in the long run, the collective effort will pay off much more than competitive effort that we see in some other parts of the world. Teamwork also on the Belgian side. Our vaccination campaign, we've reached 2 days ago 70% of the plus 65 population which has been vaccinated. This means a huge relief. I know people in my environment, my parents, for example, I've seen on their face the change of waiting for the vaccine and having received the vaccine. It makes a tremendous difference of the way people look at the world, and I'm convinced that in the next months, the rest of the population will have that gratifying feeling as well. Last element, I hope this is the start of an increased confidence of the European project, because I think we've shown here what we can do, but we've also seen what the potential weaknesses could be. And like with everything, I think this is a moment where we need to look at what we can do better, but we also do not need to be hesitant to point out what we have done well and use these methods much more. So again, thank you to you for inviting us here. I know your priority is producing, and I know a visit like this is not an easy one to organize. And thank everyone in Pfizer for the tremendous role they've played over the last months.
Well, thank you, Prime Minister. It is not only an honor, but a pleasure to have you and Madam President here. And now I would like to invite our very valued partner and very dear friend, Dr. TÜRECI. Özlem, please say a few words.
Yes, first of all, thank you very much for Albert for your kind words. It's a pleasure for us to be your partner, and it's also a pleasure that I could be here today and meet the highly committed team of comrade heroes who are working in Puurs together with our team to make the impossible possible. I also would like to thank you, Madam President, for this opportunity to make finally your personal acquaintance, and I'm also very happy to meet you, Mr. Prime Minister, here at this occasion. And also, certainly, hello to all of you. At BioNTech, we have been working on mRNA technology for 2 decades, and the mission was to develop medicines against cancer and other serious diseases. And in January 2020, trusting into the long-standing research of mRNA, into our experience and command of the technology, and in our deep knowledge of the immune system, we decided to embark into the development of a COVID-19 vaccine. And we did this because we trusted we would be able to solve the problems in real time. And at that time, as you know, it was an unknown territory and an unpredictable outcome. Back then, we had treated a few hundreds of cancer patients with mRNA. We were able, with our manufacturing process and our manufacturing capacities, to produce a few thousands of doses per year. If we now look at where we are today, we are in Puurs. I have met a team of highly committed people who are working on manufacturing of our COVID-19 vaccine, who proudly presented that they are able to produce more than a billion doses per year. So it's a great and gigantic achievement to which we were capable. What we also have learned in these 2 years are basically two lessons. One lesson is that partnerships are very important. They have enabled us to stem the pandemic. We have learned that partnering up, in particular, not only with partners such Albert and his team, with complementary capabilities, but with identical culture and fit, is an important step to make. We have also learned that public-private partnerships, and for this I would like to thank Madam President, that public-private partnerships are very important. And I can tell you, when we founded our company many years ago, we had a dream. And the dream was not only to develop paradigm-shifting medicines, it was also to contribute to the formation of public-private partnerships, of new models which would enable companies to better provide for the greater good. And here we have such an example. Another lesson we have learned is that science can make a difference, science and technology, that we can succeed in turning science and technology and in survival and health, and we will continue to do so while Puurs and our other facilities in our network will continue to supply globally. In parallel, we will work on facing and addressing our challenges ahead, boosting the third dose, addressing variants. Also here, science will accompany us. With this, I would like to remind us all of our common motto, World Against Virus, and again, thank all of you for being here.
Thank you so much, Özlem. And I would like now to invite questions. If you would like to raise your hand, and our colleagues will invite you to the microphone.